Danny Baker today blasted pompous BBC bosses after he was fired for a joke tweet of a couple with a monkey that he posted hours after the royal baby was unveiled. The BBC Radio 5 Live host said he had been literally thrown under the bus as he was fired over the phone this morning, and later revealed he had told station chiefs to F off. The broadcaster, who denied he was racist as he spoke on the doorstep of his £2 million home, sparked outrage after uploading an image of a couple holding hands with a monkey in a suit with the caption, "Royal baby leaves hospital." Baker, 61, deleted the picture as soon as he realized the controversy and later branded it a stupid unthinking gag when he was hit by a huge backlash, insisting that it was about privilege and class and not race. He had posted the image just hours after Prince Harry and Meghan, whose mother Doria Ragland is African American, showed off baby Archie to the world at Windsor Castle yesterday. He told Mail Online from his home in Blackheath, southeast London this morning that he was shocked at my own foolishness and uploaded a silly photo for a joke. Later he revealed that he had told the head of BBC 5 Live to F off and was not temperate when he heard he would no longer be working at the station. He said he became infuriated when told he had meant to be racist by tweeting the picture of a chimpanzee in the hat being let out of a hospital by human parents. But he insisted the picture was actually about class and privilege, not race. "Basically they said to me you meant that tweet. I said to them you think so?" he told Mail Online. "And I said, well F you and F off. So, by mutual agreement my employment was terminated. They did not give me a chance to apologize. But I'm not very temperate anyway when people want to get rid of me. There's no conversation. But for them to throw us under the bus, they wouldn't have done it to certain Radio 4 presenters. They would have had them in to discuss it." It came as many observers accused the BBC of double standards, after they failed to sack BBC apprentice star Alan Sugar after he compared the Senegal football team to beach sellers in Spain. Baker said he understood that the tweet could give offense but was angered that his employer failed to listen to him. Recalling his dismissal, he said, "In a shocking faux portentous gravitas way," he said, "we found this to be abhorrent." Yes, it was abhorrent. "And I was aware of the context of it. I took it down. So I said F you, F off." He continued, "If I had had a grandchild yesterday I would have put that photo up. Once I was made aware of the context I said oh shit and took it down. But now the idea that I must have known horse shit. I do understand all of this. I get it. But for 5 Live to chuck us under the bus, come on." Asked what his listeners would think about the recent events he said, "I'm going to go on to Twitter in a minute in an orgy of self-congratulation. I have been doing this for 40-odd years. I have been fired before by the BBC. Twice. This was a serious error of judgment and goes against the values we as a station aim to embody. Danny's a brilliant broadcaster but will no longer be presenting a weekly show with us. I am annoying ebullient. If you are accused of the kind of grotesque racism that you are not, you do not wring your hands. No. Ill-advised. Ill thought out. Stupid. But racist? No. I'm aware how delicate that imagery is. If people think I followed the royal birth and was waiting to spring that." Attempting to explain the disastrous tweet, Baker said, "I saw royal baby called Archie. I did a very funny joke about it under the arches. And then I thought, oh I know, the posh chimp in the thing. Hat. If Boris Johnson had a kid yesterday it would have been the monkey in the top hat because it's a thing about class and privilege and all of this." Baker admitted he knew he would be fired as the storm about his tweet grew. He said, "This is bound to happen once it had ignited on Twitter." Today he told LBC he understands entirely why he was sacked from the BBC, but that he is upset over the way it was handled. He said he was given a lecture which I terminated after about 30 seconds with a couple of words that I'll leave you to fill in. He added, "But even if your boss is up there, and they'd rang you up like some junior that they going we feel that the BBC must shut up, ring us up and just say, look, we know what's going on here but you've really loused this one up." Absolutely. Baker said he was not particularly rattled over the sacking. He said, "I've been doing this game long enough to understand exactly how this has happened and where I am. I totally get that. But what I can't do, is wear the sacking on what grounds saying, oh, it was only a joke. It wasn't only a joke, it was a mistake, a real huge blunder." Just minutes after Baker took the phone call telling him he was dismissed, he wrote on Twitter that he had been fired, adding, "It was red sauce, always in reference to a game played on his show. In a follow-up post he added, "The call to fire me from at BBC 5 Live was a masterclass of pompous faux gravity." Took a tone that said I actually meant that ridiculous tweet and the BBC must uphold blah blah blah. Literally threw me under the bus. Could hear the suit's knees knocking. The BBC confirmed his sacking today, saying in a statement, "This was a serious error of judgment and goes against the values we as a station aim to embody. Danny's a brilliant broadcaster but will no longer be presenting a weekly show with us." In an email to staff on Thursday morning, 5 Live controller Jonathan Wall wrote, "I have just spoken to Danny Baker and let him know that he will no longer be presenting his weekly show with us. Danny made a serious error of judgment on social media last night and it goes against the values we live and breathe on this radio station. Danny has been a brilliant broadcaster for us and I want to thank him for his work with us on Saturday mornings over the last few years." After news of his sacking emerged, scores of social media users took to Twitter. Some said he was right to be dismissed, but others, including broadcaster and Tory MP Giles Brandreth, defended him, saying he had not meant to be racist. He wrote, "All I'll say is, when it comes to trying to be funny, everyone makes mistakes. All I know is that Danny Baker is a great broadcaster, a fine writer and one of the most decent and delightful guys in the business. I'm honored to know him." There were also claims from others accusing the BBC of double standards, after they failed to sack Alan Sugar after he compared the Senegal football team to beach sellers in Spain. Earlier today, after the backlash continued to mount, he told Baker told Mail Online, "I put up a silly photo for a joke. It was monkey in a top hat or something. I would have put it up for anyone. I apologized and I took it down when it was pointed out. Once I realized that it was offensive, I took it down." Asked if he is a racist, the BBC 5 Live broadcaster replied, "No, of course I'm not a racist. Not in the slightest. It was obviously a mistake. I have made a full apology. Yes, of course I've made a full apology. I put up silly pictures all the time. But that's all. I think even you must realize that it was a mistake. I'm shocked at my own foolishness." After he removed the image following the huge backlash against him, Baker wrote, "Sorry, my gag pic of the little fella in the posh outfit has whipped some up. Never occurred to me because, well, mine not diseased." Soon as those good enough to point out its possible connotations got in touch, down it came. And that's it. Now stand by for sweary football tweets. Baker, who has appeared on ITV's I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here, added, "Connection never occurred to me till people were good enough to enlighten. Little fella in posh suit. Anyway, deleted now." As the outrage continued to pour in, Baker wrote, "Once again, sincere apologies for the stupid unthinking gag pic earlier. Was supposed to be a joke about royals versus circus animals in posh clothes but interpreted as about monkeys and race, so rightly deleted. Royal watching not my forte. Also, guessing it was my turn in the barrel." It isn't the first time the presenter has faced controversy. He was sacked from 5 Live in 1997 when bosses said he had incited threatening behavior in an outburst over a referee. And in 2012 he attacked the BBC on Twitter and on air after his show was cancelled. Twitter users had called on the BBC to sack him following the tweet, which came just hours after Prince Harry and Meghan revealed baby Archie to the world. One wrote, "Danny Baker posts an image comparing Archie, a royal newborn with African heritage, to an ape. Danny Baker should be sacked this morning." Another wrote, racist. Danny Baker should be given today to resign and clear his desk. If he is still there at 16.59 at BBC must fire him. I'm disgusted by the hate and racism inherent in his tweet. Unforgivable. He's not fit to be a broadcaster employed from the public purse." Another said, "Wow, that didn't take long. Royal baby is just 2 days old and he's already being trolled by Danny Baker, who has compared him to a chimpanzee. And Baker claims he's not racist." Another added, "His defense? His mind is not diseased. Is there a pic of Danny Baker introducing his career to a toilet?" Another said, "Sorry, Danny Baker needs to go. There's far too much tolerance of racism. The country is really in danger of slipping into a murky and ignorant abyss. A sludge made up of xenophobia, racial intolerance and insensitivity. A genuine lack of intelligence. Make it stop." And another added, Danny Baker needs to be sacked with immediate effect for his racist tweet, and then offered what he thought was an apology, which was anything but. He is a pathetic excuse of a man. BBC need to do the right thing. His behavior is appalling.